Hey, follow us on YouTube.
Two dudes watch cartoons. Two dudes watch cartoons. Two dudes watch cartoons. Two dudes watch cartoons. Yeah.
Welcome back to Two Dudes Watch Cartoons, the podcast where two dudes, that is us, watch cartoons. My name is Evan.
And my name is Alex, and we got a good one for you today. I'm super excited to talk about this. It's been a minute since this show first came out. It was airing week by week, but I was gripped watching it weekly. Very rarely nowadays do I watch a show weekly. A lot of times I will wait for it to all come out before I start watching. But the 30-minute Adult Swim cartoon we're covering today, Common Side Effects. Evan, my first question for you.
Yeah.
What is the difference between affect and effect? Go!
Affect is a verb, to affect something, to cause change. Effect is the noun, the thing that was caused.
Affect is the verb. Okay,
Yeah.
I've never heard it that way, but you have it right. Yeah. I always, when you affect something, you get an effect from it after.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes A and E. Okay, yeah, you got it. But I cannot tell you how many times when I took some notes, I wrote affect. I was looking through them and I was like, oh my God.
That's all right. It started February of 2025, so relatively new. Adult
Yes.
Swim animation, sorry.
Anime.
Anyway, but one of the executive producers, I think this is rather interesting. The series is created by Joseph Bennett and Steve Healy. I'm not super familiar with either of those names,
Enlighten
but
me.
Joseph Bennett, I know from my light Wikipedia research, is also an executive producer of another series I've been comparing this to that I've been trying to get you to watch, Scavenger Rain.
Okay. Interesting. I didn't realize those were the people that made it. I saw one of the voice actors for one of the people was Mike Judge, who also makes a ton of different cartoons. He was a big part of Beavis and Butthead. He created King of the Hill, which is one of the best animated shows out there. So I assumed he had something to do with it. But yeah, that makes sense. Okay, Scavenger's Reign. Is the animation style similar in Scavenger's Reign?
No, I think maybe different studios animated it. But so Mike Judge, you're correct. He does voice the I think the pharma exec, but
Francis's boss.
This
Which is
show
an interesting character. Let's go on.
very much so. This show produced by under his studio Bandera Entertainment. So I think he had a little bit of maybe some guidance or role beyond the voice work. So give us the premise. Give us the lowdown. How would you sum up the series and get someone to watch it?
Interesting. How would I sum up this series to get someone to watch it? Before I dive into that, what I want to say is this, when watching it, reminded me, Evan, of you and I getting high in my bathroom watching cartoons. Like, he's like, come on, we're adults now. We have children. Let's not go there. I had so much joy watching this week by week because to me, this is where, we always wanted the medium to go to. This, for all intents and purposes, takes place in reality, in our world.
Yeah.
This guy has discovered a blue mushroom that will cure anything. That is the basis of the story, and where it goes from there is wild, crazy cockamamie. Who gets involved from there? You won't believe it goes all the way to the top, as it usually does. And it's just a wild and crazy adventure. What I love about it is, gosh, it is such simple storytelling. Like, it is very beat for beat, very, just, but, there are so many philosophical and deep questions just rooted along the way in this whole whole series. And it's fascinating to me from start to finish. Like I'm like hesitant. I'm like, I don't want to spoil it for anyone. So like, if you haven't watched it yet, go check it out. 30-minute episodes. It's a quick watch.
It's a breeze. Let's
We'll
bring
wait
back
for
our
you.
old format. What was it? The rec room where we'll dance around all.
We're just recommending it. No. We're gonna get into it, but yeah, I feel like I'm trying to like hide where the series goes, but it the DEA, Big Pharma, all these people get involved. It becomes an international sort of incident when Marshall, who is this wanted criminal, which is so funny to me in the beginning, he discovers, what do they call it? It's just a blue mushroom? What's the name of it?
The
I'm
blue
blanking.
angel mushroom.
The blue angel mushroom. And
Are mushrooms having a moment in pop culture? There's The Last of Us. But that's more of a scary angle. And then there's, I guess,
and I also think
this show's maybe a
not to
little
get
smaller.
into more drug use, but recreational use of mushrooms, I think, is at an all-time high. There are pushes to like legalize it. There's like people studying trauma recovery with mushrooms. There's mushrooms are having their moment right now.
I won't ask you to divulge anything, but I've had a little bit of a what do you call it, mushroom chocolate, like a tiny introductory piece from a friend, and then we went to go see a comedy show.
Yeah,
and I don't feel as though I felt the side effects. I was also drinking a fair amount, but Haley turned to me and she was like, "You're laughing really loud right now." And I was like, "I'm just
like,
being an engaged audience." It was like we're at the comedy club. It's not like headliners or anything. I was just like, I'm just trying to be a charitable audience member, you know?
You go, he's doing his part on stage. I'm doing my part in the audience.
We're in like the back room. It's like an open mic format. So I'm just like, if they were funny, I was going to laugh. But that's my only experience with it.
Yeah. I will talk about a friend who has maybe done mushrooms that has told me a lot about experiences on this podcast. Never would divulge their name or want to do this. But what is really interesting about this series is it is like that mushroom trip experience, but on a light level. When someone does take the Blue Angel, they do go through like a psychedelic trip. In the audience eyes, it feels very short. But as we learn, sometimes that moment will be long for people in there. And that is very normal for mushrooms, for you to have like maybe a 5-minute experience and be like, wow, that was 12 hours. That's crazy. And someone's like, no, dude, that was 10 minutes ago. And it like will really mess you up. And so I think that there are a lot of themes, while this is heavy on like the pharmaceutical and like health aspects of everything, there are a lot of themes of like that psychedelic spiritual experience from mushrooms here. And in all honesty, that kind of becomes the common side effect, if you will, of this. And we can get into that more later. But
I mean, that's one of the highlights too, is those trippy sequences in this. And again, you'll see a lot of that stuff in Scavenger's Reign as well.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I really enjoy about this, that I'm reading now on the Wikipedia, so this is, it falls under adult animation. It's not on the regular Cartoon Network. It's but it's not adult animation in the way that we've probably thought about it for the past decade. It's not in the Rick and Morty vein. Rick and Morty was innovative and fun for its time, but it became the format. You know what I mean?
Everyone carbon copied. They wanted gore, sci-fi, cussing.
Yep. Prior to that, it was Family Guy, maybe.
Yes.
Maybe more Simpsons style. And then it was Rick and Morty, and that was the dominant format since whenever it came out.
And what I was saying is, in the bathroom, this is what we dreamed of.
Yeah.
We wanted shows like every genre to have an animated type style show.
Mm-hmm. And so they, the two showrunners, in making the show, it is a comedy, but it's more, they sought to make like a crime thriller genre, like Burn After Reading, like very inspired by the Coen brothers. So.
Burn After Reading is such a, oh my God, I haven't seen that in so long. Okay. I was going to say it gives me at moments like The Wire, like Breaking Bad. Not exactly that, because there are a lot of funny moments too. I don't want to downplay that. Like, I'm not like, this is a super serious show. Tons of funny moments, lots of laughing, but like the really interesting stuff to me was how far like the DEA and Big Pharma above the DEA, essentially. They showed us like the pecking order of who's calling the shots on get Mitchell Cusino and the Blue Angel mushroom gone.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, a lot of social commentary woven in there as well about Big Pharma, obviously about the government. But at its core, it's sort of like a political thriller. Like
Yeah.
it's a chase. It's a chase throughout the
It
whole
is,
thing.
yeah.
They got to find Marshall. They got to find the Blue Angel mushroom.
And Marshall, I said Mitchell. Marshall is the whole time trying to grow more of these. As I love Marshall's whole journey. In the beginning, he's like, I found this amazing thing. Why won't anyone, like, we need to share it with the world. This is amazing. Look at what it can do. And so we quickly come to find out from Marshall interacting with his old high school lab partner, Frances, who also works at
for Big
Receutical Pharma. She takes off her name tag when she hears Marshall has this thing. We come to find out he died, is what he's telling her, and the mushroom brought him back. And so this is sort of what I love about this whole premise, is they were like, oh, we have a mushroom that heals everything in the writer's room. And they were like, oh, but like, okay, so should it heal, like, it wouldn't heal like if an arm got cut off or like, and they were like, no, it heals everything. And that, to me, is what makes this, like, takes this to fantasy, if you will, and why it should be animated. And it was so well done. They held no bars. Marshall dies, I think, 3 times throughout the series, and it just fully is back alive after eating this mushroom. And I love that shit. First off, I love, like, I love the idea of a plot, like, he's not just coming back like, oh, look at us, oh, we faked you out with with our main character's death. It's so ingrained and woven into the plot that it is like so how do I say, like, it's not cheesy. It's not it's not cheesy, it's not corny. It's like so powerful, this mushroom, that it's like it's almost swung back around to, like, it's not a corny, like, writing device. Does that make sense?
Yes. Here's the comparison I'll draw is like it's so woven into the story that it's not, this show, and maybe it's because of the animated format, like, it just sets you up to really be able to suspend disbelief as grounded and real as it is. Whereas in a show that we had, gosh, near 10, 15 years ago, The Leftovers, the main character in season 1 died, spoilers, once. And then
Season 2.
And then he, like, comes back, and it was like a big discussion of what happened. How did he come back? What happened? Like,
becomes a big talking point. Yeah,
the meta spiritual, like, context of it. But it's like, it's just a fact of this world that you can take this mushroom and come back from life.
And you know, death. I think part of it is they set it up right away with the pigeon. He's like, let me show you. And he breaks the little pigeon's neck and he sprinkles it on his little beak and he comes back to life. And in that moment, we see the pigeon's trip. First off, he sees those little white guys that we see. I don't know what to call those little white men that people who have taken the mushroom will see. And also the pigeon sees, like, the birth of the universe and, like, a tiny little egg. And once again, my friend who has taken mushrooms has told me when you take a lot of them, what scientifically is happening is you lose, like, your ego. And so a lot of times people will compare it to, like, a death and a rebirth because it's very, oh, I wasn't me for this amount of time. I was one with the nature, one with universe, one with everything. And what's so interesting, and whoever made this show clearly has taken a lot of shrooms, is eventually it gets there. It gets to that sort of connectivity of everything sort of vibe and feeling. And I mean, like, it's literally drawing things and people together at the end, which is so like a fungus, like in the Last of Us. It spreads and its roots grow, and oh my God. It's like a mind fungus. That's fucking trippy, bro. Sorry. That's crazy.
Before we go any further, to really hit home this recommendation on Rotten Tomatoes,
Oh,
love or hate, average tomato meter of, do you want to take a guess?
I'm going to give it an 88.
That's the average popcorn meter, which I think is the
Okay.
audience score.
Wow.
Tomato meter, 100%.
Let that honestly though,
It is. It's what, 10 episodes?
10 episodes, 30 minutes, easy watch, so worth it.
Yeah.
So worth it. And it's not like, oh, it dips kind of in the middle and it picks back up towards it. No, every episode is super engaging, start to finish, I feel like. There's characters that are on the wrong side of the conflict that you really like. And then you have Frances, who's on the quote unquote right side of the conflict. And we see her life and we see what she's going through. And we like feel for her, even though she's got this great high paying job at this huge pharmaceutical company. She's still in debt. She's still not like crazy about her life. Her boyfriend
mom has Alzheimer's.
She's got crazy medical debt from her mom having Alzheimer's. And they introduce us to, oh my God, this is so good too. This show's wild. They introduce us to a lot of gray characters. I think of the two DEA cops who we should be rooting against, but we follow a lot of their story and we end up by the end of them really liking both of them, I feel like, and kind of rooting for them. But then we also get Frances, who's on our side of the conflict, but we know has ulterior motives. And we see why she has these ulterior motives. They introduce us to a lot of these great characters. And then we get Marshall, who's like, no, health care for all. Everyone should have this mushroom.
Textbook burnout hippie Marshall.
Textbook burnout hippie. And just spoilers, then by the end of it, he starts to see a little bit of the error of his own ways, I think. And comes a little bit to a heel turn of like, oh my God, maybe this shouldn't be for everyone.
One of the very interesting things about this show is that because it doesn't qualify the fantasy element in that the mushroom, like they don't create a bunch of rules around it, but because it is just this all powerful, it's not a MacGuffin, really. Maybe? I don't know.
It is the MacGuffin, but it's a really well thought out and well written MacGuffin where it's not just like, oh, we need to go get the stone to unlock the ancient. Yeah,
Sure.
You get what I'm saying.
Because it is so pure and powerful in this story, it's a really useful, like the bulk of the character developments, like the journey we follow is seeing how and this is a Zack Snyder bar.
Oh,
absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Yeah. No, and it really does because it's really nice to think about him curing like chronic pain, curing rashes, burn victims. It's great thinking about that. But imagine casually introducing some substance to the human race that could cure death.
Yeah.
Think of just the implication of that. We would quickly have overpopulation, not enough resources, and the disparity of like generational wealth would
who gets
only
access
widen.
to it?
And then who gets access to it? Yeah. And so what's so interesting is the whole time Marshall is fighting against the pharmaceutical company, they're like, no, your way's the wrong way. And then we not quickly, but we come to realize like Marshall's way is probably not the right way either. There needs to be a third option here, which is so interesting to me because I find that is like the conversation in the American healthcare debate is people are like, oh, you want to do what Canada does? Look at their long lines and their doctors and their this and their that. And it's like, isn't there a third option? Why does it have to be this horrible, horrible, shitty option or this other not so great option? Can't we find an actual solution? We're so focused always on the extremes, not to be the fence rider here, but we're always so focused on the two extremes that we often miss that there is like a middle ground solution to a lot of things.
Yeah. I think, one of the really interesting relationships in this is his relationship with his mentor. I forget her name, but he like first goes to
Hildy?
Hildy. He first goes to her because he trusts her, and she has been looking for this mushroom too.
Years.
And
She's the one who turned him on to it, essentially.
Yeah, and he brings it back to show to her. They talk about it. She's like really intrigued. She kills him. That's his second death.
That's his second death of
just
the
to
series.
see if it works. But
just to see if it works.
And it drives her crazy. But like she starts going after him because she wants to be the one that's in charge
to control the distribution of it.
To control the distribution. So really interesting dynamics. But we were talking a little bit about Francis.
Let's go back to Francis.
I feel like the way we've been talking about this show, it feels more heavy-handed or serious than it is. And one of the really fun dynamics in this show is Francis and Marshall. It's like a rom-com.
Yeah.
It's like they fall in love with each. It's How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like she has an ulterior motive. He doesn't know about it. She's hiding it, and then she falls for him towards the end.
Yeah, no, that's what it started as, Marshall, but that's not what it is now. Francis, to me, is what made the show really grounded in reality. Her struggles, her decisions, her inner conflicts, her outer conflicts, choosing money and like security and health for her mother is such the logical, rational thing to do. Yeah. And in what we have now described as a fantasy world where people can come back from the dead and everything can be cured, this blue mushroom, we have Francis's story, which is really grounded. And I'm not saying this is like everyone's story, but she's got like a boyfriend. She's like, he keeps proposing and she's saying no. She's clearly not into him. So it's like, it's one of those relationships where like, and this is not right on her. I'm not condoning this on anyone's part, but she's like not wanting to be single. So she's just with Jeff still. You know what I mean? And it's really sad. What?
Yeah, it is very sad, but the boyfriend...
Jeff was really funny, though. He's always in VR doing this, like, fishing game.
Yeah.
He's, babe, do you think you can get the... This is what I'm saying. There's a lot of really funny moments in, like, you know, Francis is, like, pacing the door, like, walking back and forth, and he's in the background, like, doing some funny shit.
But she climbs the corporate ladder, too. And you understand why. She has to create security for herself, for her mother. Who she's caring for.
And her mother is what really is her call to action, even in the first place. That's what gets her into this. And so eventually Marshall gives her mother the mushroom and it cures her. And it's that has to be, you know, as someone who's like had a grandparent who really lost their memory at the end, it's really hard talking with them.
Yeah.
And for her to come back and be lucid and having these conversations and so full of life, like that moment for Francis was like, oh, it was all worth it.
Yeah.
It's so, what, monkey's paw? What do you want to call it? Like the mushroom got what the mushroom wanted in the end. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, you can't escape it forever.
Do you want to dig into it? So there...
Yeah, we're here. We could, let's dig into it.
What are the after effects of all the people that take it? Because one of the guys goes crazy, right? He's like,
I'll be honest. It's not 100% clear. All we get as the viewer is that there's these dancing little white trippy men and these like animations that follow them around. And they seem to be guiding people, telling people what to do, which is not great. Which, you know, is not common side effects. They didn't study this. They didn't. And just to bounce around a little, by the end of the series, they've given it to a ton of people. And and this is what I was saying about the mushroom is, so I'm really bouncing around now, but we get multiple scenes of after Marshall's and Francis have taken the mushroom both. He's like in a trip. I think it might be his third death trip. And he's like watching Francis, and it is where she is and what she's doing. Like he's having a trip, so he doesn't know that. And he's reaching out and he tries to grab her hand, and she can feel it. She feels it in the restaurant. And so like these mushrooms are connecting these people through their trips, through their hallucinations. This is what I was talking about is sort of the fungus spreading from person to person, mind connecting them a little,
mind melding. Yeah.
So I mean, at the very end, we're all talking around it. At the very end, Francis and Marshall are down on their luck at the end, and they are just following where the little white men are telling them to go, and it leads them to each other. Like out of all the things and places, so like they the mushroom is connecting the people in some sort of way. And this is what I'm super excited about for season 2. And I genuinely think season 2 is going to be like drastically different.
Yeah, I don't know where they're on the run, but it's being widely distributed. At the end, Hildy is dumping it into the water supply somewhere.
Oh
right?
my God, Hildy's dumping it into the water at the end, which, let's say there's no negative side effects, would be brilliant. You know what I mean? She's like, yeah, everyone deserves this. But so, yeah, eventually they are really extracting all the juice from these things, and they're making like a tincture, like a liquid version of it. And so it allows them to do a lot more with little. And we've skipped over it because we're bouncing around, but it's really funny to me that the secret formula for the mushrooms to really grow is turtles poop.
Even in the formulation of the Blue Angel mushroom, it only could grow under circumstances where there's a ton of pollution.
Yeah, it's very...
Plus those turtles.
I think the fact that the pollution is involved should tell you this is not created on God's green earth naturally. This is tampered with. And they're dumping medical waste nonetheless.
Yeah.
It is specifically, and so I guess that's why it has its component of like cure all. Like we're dumping all of our waste, like it cures a little bit of this, it cures a little bit of that. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's really interesting that and this is why I say season 2 will be so different, is, 9 of the 10 episodes, we are really led to believe that the mission is get this to the masses. Like more people should have access to this mushroom, not through the pharmaceutical companies.
So you think season 2 will be dealing with the ramifications of it being, because even the big pharma company, Reutical.
Oh my God, Reutical is using it as a food
they just
additive
turn it into
now.
a food additive, yeah.
So oh my God, it's in the water, it's in the food. So think about this. People are, it's already going to be happening. People are going to be living longer, a lot longer. Oh my God. I my prediction in season 2, maybe not right away, but at some point we're going to get like a 5 to 10 year later.
I like that prediction. Yeah, I don't know if it could be interesting any way it plays out.
I agree. Like. Yeah, I'm curious. But it's I mean, I guess it'll probably still have the aspect of him on the run because, and this was one of the funny things too, is he's like considered this wanted criminal and murderer. And he's like just a hippie and he never buttons his shirt. He's wearing flip-flops the whole fucking show. Like he's not this mastermind that they're making him out to be. We talked about Marshall. We talked about Francis. Her boss, Rick. Just a small detail. Rick was what? Yeah, that's Mike
Judge's
Judge.
Character. Okay.
Yeah, he is just always on his phone, and sometimes he's doing important stuff, and other times he's clearly just like scrolling or swiping or like, you know what I mean? Sometimes he's like frivolously typing, and I just thought that was such an interesting small detail. Like he's always on his phone, but you can't tell if he's actually working or not.
Yeah, I think that was what I was trying to, the thought I was trying to grab was, even in the pharmaceutical company, Frances discovers this via Marshall, the Blue Angel mushroom. So that's why she's pursuing it. She wants to pitch it to her boss so she can climb the corporate ladder. And he's all on board. And then later in the season, he gets pulled aside by, whoever owns Reutical. And he's like, the boss really like tells him to back down because there's like another layer above.
Shut it down.
Yeah, he's like, shut it down. Like, could you
There is no layer above him because he's the same dude that ordered the DEA to go get it. He's lying to Rick. He's saying, the DEA is... But he's the one that... It's like, he told the DEA, go shut this motherfucking thing down now. Yeah. And then he was like, the DEA saying, nah, it's not gonna...
Yeah.
No, and he's got that thick accent, and I don't even remember where he's from. But then eventually he gets sick, and he's like, I need the mushroom. I need it myself. And when he starts to do his crisscross, that's when we start to see Marshall's crisscross a little. I think this show, it presents itself so simply and like straightforward, but it is so well written. Like every interaction, every line, like knowing that this man gets sick, he spent all season and all thing shutting this down. And then he's like, I need it. Are there any, remember he's like, oh, hey, Rick, I was just wondering if there was any more of that blue that I told you should get rid of it all. Is there any left? No? Okay. That.
Oh yeah, because he ends up at the camp later. in line for.
He ends up at the camp. He skips the line, and in the madness, so he gets some himself. So he cares. And so this is what I'm saying is he's going to be an old ass man still alive, tripping his balls off every now and again with these little white men telling him probably to do some shit.
It's super layered, and hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully that doesn't spoil too much if you haven't seen it. I guess we've given
at this point. We've given the whole bag away.
But it's a lot more entertaining than us being able to relay.
I think I'm pitching it pretty well. Just kidding.
You're doing a fantastic job. But yeah, it does sort of end, not on a cliffhanger, but it's open-ended towards the end of the season.
I'm pretty sure it's already renewed.
Yeah. It is already renewed for season 2, which is interesting, seeing as how Joseph Bennett's other show did not get picked up for season 2.
Oops.
They even tried to shop Scavenger Rain to like Netflix, and it was on Netflix for a little bit.
Oh my gosh.
Got no steam, unfortunately.
Interesting. This one was consistently like in the top 10 for Max, though. I like when these streaming sites give us those top 10s. It's fun to see if it's popular enough. And so I think that's... Oh, excuse me. Not Max. HBO Max. How dare I? I didn't get the memo. Yeah. I spent 2 years adjusting to Max.
Let's talk about that.
Well, okay, we're here. Go ahead. Here.
What are your...
I sent you breaking news. I asked Evan, are you sitting down? Because famously, we've railed against this decision for 2 years. And I think now that they're switching back, I can honestly say worst public branding decision maybe of all time.
And they've redesigned the logo because in the press run-up to this, they have shown the redesigns from HBO Go all the way back to HBO Go. Do you remember those
know. Days? Do you remember when you had Go and Now and they were two separate fucking things? There was a time period where HBO Now and HBO Go were both streaming services for different things.
Yeah. I think it was like Go, you had cable.
No, it was. I think it was Now you have cable. Go, you just have a subscription.
But in any case, they show the progression from like 2020 HBO Now, whatever it was, to HBO Max, so on and so forth, to ultimately end up back at HBO Max. I mean, I guess I'm glad that they've learned their lesson, but I can't engage with any of the, like, they have the celebrities. I don't know if you've seen them doing the paper of the new.
I will say, I think they handled the rollout appropriately. They knew they were going to get clowned on, and so they got ahead of it, if that makes sense.
Sure. I'm glad they trusted their marketing people with that, but to me, it's like, why make any of those? The past 5 years of decision-making is just out the window.
It all started, you know what's so funny? It all started with Zack Snyder's Justice League.
And it really did. And okay, maybe this is because we wanted to talk about the new Superman trailer, so maybe this is a good jumping off point. That was the main news we wanted to talk about today. The new Superman trailer just dropped, and you know, obviously, anytime there's anything Superman related, the Snyderverse comes sort of back up.
I'm actually beginning to get worried about the Snyderverse fans. The trailer was the first time I was like, oh, they just really are gonna hate this.
Well, and what's interesting though is that from what I've seen from the trailer and the story it's going to explore with like Lois interviewing Clark, really pressing him.
Yeah,
that's
well. You didn't hear? Hear? Feminism's too woke now.
What?
I'm just kidding. Lois Lane, they get mad about the silliest shit, dude.
Yeah.
They're like, I saw people complaining like, oh, Lois wasn't being a good journalist. She was being a bad girlfriend, is one of the comments I saw. And I was like, bro, what the fuck?
Yeah.
People will hate. I have recently discovered people can hate on anything because that trailer
give me a topic. I'm ready.
Yeah, they will find there's some people that are just natural born haters because that trailer just objectively was awesome.
It looked awesome. But my point being that, so, you know, there's some Snyderverse fans in the comments brushing up against the new trailer, but it's like, in essence, and I'm looking forward to this movie very much, but what Zack Snyder was trying to do was explore the political ramifications, the societal ramifications of a Superman existing. What the new trailer is about him intervening in a war.
That's
like that
is
first
so
20 minutes
Snyder,
of Batman versus Superman.
I agree.
It's the whole Neil deGrasse Tyson sequence in there. Granted, it'll probably be written better, But so I think there's a little bit of like, just like let's sit down, enjoy it to both sides of the aisle. To James Gunn fans, everyone who's looking forward to it, but shitting on Snyder fans, deservedly so, but also Snyder fans like, hey, just sit back. It'll probably be a little bit of what you liked, and it'll probably be a lot of bit of what you liked from the Superman movie.
I think what this trailer and the internet reaction made me realize was I thought there was a lot more people out there like you and I that liked the Snyder stuff, but was excited for what James Gunn was doing. And I think we are far and few between. I think you either like hated what Snyder did and are looking forward to what James Gunn is doing, or you loved what Snyder did and you can't stand anything that James Gunn has ever made ever now all of a sudden.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. There's probably way more of us than, people who are
they're just not
devoutly
outspoken.
online.
It's kind of the opposite sides of the aisle thing I was talking about. Yeah.
What are your favorite parts of the trailer?
Oh, okay. So
Sorry, I'm totally derailing the show.
I was gonna say we'll go back.
Yeah.
And let's finish talking about the trailer and then we can jump back. My favorite part of the trailer, honestly, and I got goosebumps, and it's kind of early, so it like really sets the stage for the rest of it. But it's when he goes, "People were gonna die," and it's so good. I've watched it 80 times now, but that's the moment where I'll like, oh, I gotta rewind. And it's just like the preceding questions, he does the trailer itself. Cause this, honestly, when I went to college, I studied advertising. I wanted to make movie trailers. So I really love movie trailers. He built so much tension in the first like quarter of it. Like the music was ticking up. The questions were getting more and more intense. His responses were getting angrier and angrier. And then it just kind of like boom, and then it's like here's everything, boom, 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 like scene after scene. And so I think that was a really good moment. And I think Nicholas's Holt as Lex Luthor kind of took me, like that was really good. I was like, I like that.
It's sort of chilling performance, but again, to me, it's like seeing Nicholas Holt. I don't know what his lines were in the trailer, but it's
he's
like,
not a he. It's an it.
Yeah.
Oh, I was like,
okay.
Dehumanizing the enemy. Sound like something we know.
You could have dropped that into Man of Steel, though. You could have dropped that into Batman.
No. You bring up a great point, though. Yeah. No. That easily could have been Jesse Eisenberg saying that.
This is to Snyder fans, this is the James Gunn fans. There's going to be something for everyone.
It's still Superman, I think, is what's also what your point is illustrating. Mm-hmm. Like, depending on whoever's making it, it's still so very Superman. And this, what this feels like to me is, and this is not to knock, Zack Snyder was trying to do something a little different with Superman, make him in a 21st century world. Whereas to me, it looks like James Gunn is trying to really pay homage to that old Superman style.
Snyder's all flash, like all style, no substance. James Gunn is a little more substance.
A lot more substance.
A lot more substance. I think.
What was your favorite part?
Small moment. Just my favorite part of like seeing David Cornsweet's performance is when I think he's fighting the bot or whoever he's fighting, but he goes, "Hey, eyes up here," and he like blasts off, and it's like you get this like.
I saw people hating on the camera work during that. They're like, "Oh," and I was like, "Bro, that was so sick." I was like, "You object? You don't like Superman if you don't like that shot."
Yeah. It's just he's like he's got more of like a jock football player kind of vibe to it, which is fun. It's a more fun. He's even when he yells, people were gonna die. He's just is more impassioned than Henry Cavill's very stoic, very reserved Superman. Which I never thought I'd be able to see past Henry Cavill's Superman because I loved it.
You loved, and it's not that I didn't love him. I saw what Zack Snyder was going for, and I don't know they should have tried to make an extended universe around it because Zack Snyder wanted to make a movie where it really was like a reverence to this godlike being on Earth. He wanted he needed to make more. He did make a Watchmen movie. Dr. Manhattan is really what I feel like he tried to bring to Superman, where just from the trailer alone and what I've heard from James Gunn, what makes Superman a hero is his human side, his decisions that he makes, the care that he puts for other people. And I think we see a lot more humanity in David Cornsweet. He doesn't look like a Greek god. He looks like a high school football player like Smallville. He is having civilians help him up. He yells when he gets angry and flustered. You know what I'm saying? He's not cool, calm, collected every time. Well, I like justice. You know what I mean? Like, he's gonna get flustered. He's gonna get angry. But he's always gonna do what's right, even when the chips are down.
I'm so pumped.
Yeah, me too. Me too. We derailed a whole podcast just to talk about it.
That
So yeah,
sounds
if you
good.
can't tell, we're pumped. I don't have a car at the moment, so I'm getting a lot of things delivered to my house. Marty has made it so easy because not only are they fast and efficient, but they're the cheapest option out there by far.
I get these matcha lattes that retail for like $45 for a 12-pack. And I've never bought it full price. I get it on Marty for $15. Marty's woman-owned, sustainable, socially conscious, and eco-friendly. What they do is they buy up surplus inventory from the top brands that you love, and they sell it to you at a lower price, so you save food waste and you save money.
That was my first question, was how do they get these things so cheap? But they have a model, and it's passing savings on to you. They got hundreds of items, fast shipping, no subscriptions needed, and you can save on all the great food that you love. We do have a discount code when you go to marty.com/2dudeswatchcartoons, all one word.
TWO, Dudes Watch
TWO, 2 Dudes Watch Cartoons, all one word. You can save $5 off your order.
Go to marty.com/2dudeswatchcartoons at our link in bio, or just plug in the promo code 2dudeswatchcartoons. That's TWO, Dudes Watch Cartoons. Thanks for supporting the pod. Go get yourself some delicious snacks. Alex, go figure out the car situation. I don't know what's going on.
I don't need to with Marty.
Back to the episode.
Two dudes watch cartoons. Yeah.
Let's jump back. Are there any characters we've discussed or that we haven't discussed that you feel like, oh, I know. Let's talk about the DEA cops. The
favorite duo.
Yeah,
what
I was
song
gonna
are
say
they listening to in episode 1 where they're
the song. Shake, you know. So I'll be honest, before this show ever came out, I saw that clip. I swear to God, almost a year ago, like on Instagram or TikTok, of the two cops, and one was ordering the hot dog, and then he turns the music up and he's just playing it and they're dancing. And that is the perfect introduction to them because they're like the Team Rocket, where they're like the bad guys, but we're still following them and rooting for them. It's a look at the enemy side of what's going on, but through sympathetic viewpoint. Oh, it's so good.
and they have their own sort of friendship breakup towards the end. Like they have their own
they
Breaking
do.
Bad, super bad.
They have a super
friends.
bad. Well, I guess we're not friends anymore then. Yeah. God. And they together though, and sometimes this can be, well, not always, but like I was gonna say in animated shows, sometimes it's hard to show like chemistry, but it felt like these voice actors were like friends in real life. What's so great about the show is they quickly show what lengths people are willing to go once they hear about this drug. But Marshall the whole time is like, no, it should be for everyone. But like the signs are there that it probably shouldn't be. So, you know what I mean? This is how we wrap up before we get to our closing thoughts. You have the mushroom, Evan. You are Marshall. Before any of this happened.
Yeah.
What are you doing? What are your steps? What's your plan?
I have a limited supply.
You have a we'll say you have a pretty large supply at the moment, but it is limited. But it's a decent amount. Let's say like you have a backpack full. Let's quantify it. You have a backpack full of these things right now.
I think I start maybe trying to suss out who in my immediate circle needs medical attention.
Okay, yeah, take care of friends and family
friends
first.
and family, and then I don't know. I guess if it was super high in demand, I would probably try to monetize.
You don't really know the demand at this moment. He hasn't, you know what I mean? I mean, you know there would be demand, but so yeah, are you going to try to sell what you have to the highest bidder?
I think so.
Yeah, just cash
I'll
out.
Put off the responsibility.
Who do you think you're going to? Do you think you'd go to a pharmaceutical company or just like a rich dude?
I'd
like
probably
a
find like the first doctor. I
Oh, a doctor?
and let them be like, hey, run this up the chain.
Wait. What do you mean? What kind of doctor are you going? Like just a family doctor, like in a hospital?
Why not?
Run this up the chain.
Pediatrician. Give it to a pediatrician or something.
Oh
And
my
just dole these
God.
out.
How much you think the pediatrician's paying you for that?
Oh man, that's true. Yeah, I guess I'm not a strong
Said
negotiator.
run
either.
this up the chain like they're going to be like, here, boss. I got a backpack full of mushrooms.
No, just camp out outside like a cancer ward or something. I don't know, like.
That's
But not monetize that.
no, no, no. It's like $100 a pop.
Looky.
You know what though? You could ask for donations, but be giving them out there. That I think if that's honestly the way to do something like this, if you're going to be charitable like that, I actually really like your idea. You go friends and family. I don't hate the selling idea, but I kind of ran into the issue of like, who am I selling this to? If like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't really know how I'd get in contact with the appropriate person. So I didn't think of this, but you have the right idea. You go stand outside like a hospital, a cancer ward. That's probably, you go somewhere and cure a bunch of people's cancer, just be like, eat this, trust me. But then, of course, you fuck them for the rest of their life with these visions. This is before we knew. We didn't test it. Maybe testing it would be better before you just give it to friends and family. But if it brought me back to life, if I had taken it myself, I'd be like, trust me. Trust me. That'd be my source.
Yeah. Man, that is quite the moral quandary.
It's interesting. Like, we're kind of, I don't want to say we dive right into it. We dive kind of at the start of Marshall's journey, but like he's already got his mind made up at this point, what he wants to do with it until the end of, which is, I stand by, is so interesting that I was with him the whole time, but it was so clear now in retrospect, it's probably just not the best idea just to be giving it out to the masses like that. But so you wouldn't try to grow more, or would you?
Now that I've had some time to think through it, here's what I would do.
Okay,
I think I would keep a reserve for myself that I could ration out as my own supply.
Ooh, okay, now you're planning. Okay, so you got a backpack. How much, a fourth, you think, of the backpack you're saving?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
Enough that I could comfortable if I have one major injury or illness.
So you go friends and family, and then a secret stash for yourself. Brilliant. I'm keeping mine in this closet right here, somewhere dark, no one would ever know.
You try and harvest or grow it on your own, but then you take the rest and you mitigate risk for maximum reach. You find all the leading medical labs or pharmaceutical companies, give them, like, drop a little goodie bag in the middle of the night.
A free sample.
And but you also kind of have to go with, like, to the press about it so that they are
so they keep them accountable.
Motivated. Yeah, keep them accountable. And it becomes an arms race to see who can capitalize on it.
You become a Willy Wonka. You say, I have dropped off it's an Okja. It's like Okja. You say, I have dropped off 17 samples of a cure-all medicine at the top pharmaceutical companies. First one to release it wins.
Yeah.
and the media would eat that shit up. At least BuzzFeed. At least,
At least.
No, that's you. Now that you're thinking, that's real good. That's real good.
Yeah.
I thought about, now that I've had time to think about it, I know who I'm selling it to. I'm selling it to sports team managers. They got money. It's selfish. Let me preface. If I'm going the straight money route, if I go the straight money route, they have the money to buy things and they want to heal their players quick and easy and fast.
And then make it into then it becomes influencer partnership. That's how you get most distribution.
That's right.
You get Steph
Started,
Curry, was out, kicked out of the playoffs.
And you make sure he mentions Blue Angel Mushrooms by Alex Brizard.
Banners on the side. Yeah.
That's if I go the money route, people. If. I'm not saying I'm doing that. I might do that.
Yeah.
It's hard not to. I'm the Francis. Like, what? That'd be awesome. That's
the thing. I think I would be a Francis. Like, you want the security in life.
You want the security, but
especially
what's great about Francis's whole, and Rick, we even see this from Rick at some point. He's like, I got into this to help people. Like, we can leave. If we can't do it here, let's leave and go do it on our own. Like, he is still motivated by the thought of helping people. Which is like, it's so interesting, and it really gets back to, did you ever watch The Good Place, the NBC?
The early seasons.
So eventually it full on gets to fucking, you can't be a good human being in a capitalistic society. Like, and it like, just, I always think of that shit. Like, there is just, in a sense, like, even if your intentions are pure, in a capitalistic society, you just technically are not being morally good. If my iPhone was made by child laborers, but I use it every day, like, you know what I'm saying? It's everywhere around us, unfortunately, is some exploitation.
Yeah. A little depressing.
Little depressing. Yeah, sorry.
In some ways.
That's why they need the comedy to balance it out. That's why we have Cousineau and Harrington.
Oh, okay, I would have one special sample set aside for Health and Human Services Secretary RFK Jr. because he'd buy into that right away. And he
As
would
soon
be
as
the
his
mouth.
voice went like this in real time, he'd be
Wow.
like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah.
Could you? That's like a Family Guy.
Yeah. But maybe that would be his redemption arc if he brings about the cure to the world as opposed to bringing back measles. I don't know.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Maha, everybody.
All right. Before we get into closing thoughts,
Uh-huh.
season 2, we made some light predictions. It's in the food. It's in the food they're buying. It's in the public water. Where do you think season 2 is going? I don't need like the whole light prediction.
I think a little bit of what you're just saying is like, well, it'll probably deal with the backlash of like, I think it'll be really ripe territory to explore what's going on right now, where people will be questioning, why would I want Blue Angel water that heals every ailment that I have, which sounds outlandish. Like, why would I want that in the water? It sounds outlandish to say, but it's like, okay, people are questioning fluoride in our actual water supply when it reduces, dental risk by however many percent.
Almost 50%.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
like crazy.
It's like, I think that it's going to be even more so social commentary.
Yeah, but I think it'll be interesting to see
More
the general
timely.
public's opinion on it. Like you're saying, there's going to be non-believers, there's going to be doubters, there's going to be skeptics. Yeah, that'll be fun. There'll be hippies. There will be like micro influencers trying to make money off of it. There will be yeah. Oh shit. Okay. Yeah, I think it's gonna get into the trippiness of these visions and the mass amount of people that are having them. What if it led every single one of them to that desert where the two of them are? Like then what? You know what I'm saying?
Just becomes Leftovers season 2. I forget the premise of like 2
Dude, The
and 3.
Leftovers is like top 3 television show.
know,
Do not
so-
rag on it.
I'm not ragging. It's
Don't
been
rag
so
on
long.
it. Damn. Okay. Let's get into our final closing thoughts, and then we can rate it out of 5. You want me to go first? Or you want to go?
I'll go first.
Okay.
I mean, just reiterating a lot of what we said up top. Like, this is so refreshing, honestly, as adult animation, because it feels like outside of prestige drama, right now in television, there's like not much else to look forward
true.
to for an
So
adult
true.
audience. I've said many times on this podcast, like Rick and Morty changed the style of writing for a decade, and it is fun. It
Was.
was fun. It has worn over time. I still love Dan Harmon as a creator, but like it's just nice to see more flavors, more styles in popular discourse. So like we need different shades of everything, and not everything being so uniform. And this is so trippy and wild and fun. I hope we've gotten across that it is fun. It's also mega violent.
Yeah.
There's,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
DEA raids, people getting shot up. There's like it's
blood.
mega violent. There's blood. So you just be warned if you were.
We're
intending
an
to
hour in. Here's the
with
warning.
your kid. So just be sure, not for young children. This is an Adult Swim show, but it is very funny. There's like rom-com, crime thriller, like it's all woven in so well. I think you'll really enjoy yourself. It's not like laugh out loud, super, super like joke punchline funny, but it is very funny. And I think you'll really like it. 5 stars.
5 stars. Nice.
Yeah.
I think for my closing thoughts, much like Evan with the violence, I want to touch on something we missed throughout this whole episode. This has so much charm to it. I could see this quickly becoming like a comfort show for people. The animation style is a little quirky. Everyone's got a big head, kinda, but it's like warm colors, not warm colors, but like the animation style is nice and appealing. The way they talk is a little slower than like Rick and Morty. is got a lot of charm. There's some funny moments. You really fall in love with the characters, whether you hate them at times, love them at other times. It takes you on such an emotional ride if you're willing to go, and it will really have you pondering some deep questions. What would I do in this situation? Is that right? It's her job, though. And I think that is something I always appreciate in media. I think that it'll be hard to not follow up successfully with a season 2, if that makes sense. Because the things we loved in season 1, the trippy animation sequences, the mystery, the crime, the drama, I just think that's all going to be exacerbated, like next level in season 2. And so I'm super excited for another season. I could honestly watch this again after this podcast. Like Evan said, 5 stars. I think it did everything right. I don't think I have a single gripe with it, honestly.
And hearing you talk, Marshall is almost a prototypical anime protagonist. He's like the purist. He's the idealist, and the whole show is about like trying to sour that a little bit, or like how do you navigate that in a world that is cynical and has worse motivations. But yeah, incredible show.
And it kind of does wear him down at the end.
Yeah,
but God, that's so true. Yeah, really good. If you made it all this way and you have not watched, go check it out. Really worth it. Promise. Even through the violence, lots of blood.
And you now check out Scavenger's Reign.
I will. This is that's next on my list after I finish Andor, which I'm loving. Andor's so good. Oh my God, it's
just
fucking
finished 3?
so good. No, I finished 4 too.
Okay. Yeah, the second block is
holy shit. Yeah, okay. The second block I can tell is getting really in there. Cool. Little teaser for probably our next episode, Andor. So go watch that.
You know, it's not cartoons, but it's cartoon inspired.
It's cartoon adjacent, you sons of bitches. We're gonna do it anyways. Two dudes. Wait, we actually have a flagship name for this. 2 dudes watch whatever they want. It's so stick around. Okay. No, I got nothing else. We talked unfortunately about my big news, Max. Did you have any other news?
Nothing huge. I think I don't know if we've talked about this before, but I believe Coyote vs. Acme, the notorious film that got canned by David Zaslav, might be making its way to theaters at some point. It's being shopped around, and I think it's going to find its way. The latest thing I'm seeing is it's heading to Cannes, the film festival, to show in a bid to become an international hit.
That's crazy.
Bought by Ketchup Entertainment.
Okay.
So they bought it from WB.
I hope it's like a hard-hitting, I hope it's like a really fucking tight. I don't know how to describe it because obviously it's Acme, but I hope it's like a really good movie. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I hope it's worth the
trouble
that it's built up around itself now.
That's the great way to put it.
Even if it doesn't see huge financial success, if it is a well done, well written movie,
this will be a history book moment, much like
cult
The
favorite.
Interview when they shut that movie out of theaters.
Yeah, lots to look forward to.
Yeah, great. Yeah. I know I have nothing else. We talked about Max in the Middle, how dumb it is. I mean, here's the problem. It's hard to sit here and be like, it's dumb because it's the right thing to go back. I actually liked how they handled the rollout, but it's just so where were you 2 years ago? Why? What? I'm so curious how many meetings in these 2 years did someone say hey, should we switch back?
But I think I said this 2 years ago. If you're going to change the name, why change it to Max. A generic, actual
Max,
just name?
Human name. It's a human name.
Human name that is probably impossible to Google and get what you want unless you pay a shit ton in Google Ads money.
Engine, yeah.
What you might as well call it Derek. What the fuck?
That's so true because sometimes when I hear someone just say Max, it takes me a minute to think of HBO Max. And this is what I'm saying is they even posted a bunch of clips of their actors and people getting it wrong and confusing it. And so it was fun that they did that. But you know what they should have done
5 years ago?
You know what they should have done?
What?
On April 1st, they should have been April Fools. We got you. You should have seen your face. Would you have liked that more or less if on April 1st of this year, so 2 years later, they were we got you. It was HBO Max the whole time, you idiots.
I don't know. I think the way they went about it, they're admitting some sort of fault, which
you prefer.
Yeah, I will.
Which makes sense. You know what? I agree. I like when people can admit they made a mistake, and even if they're joking about it, they are admitting that it was a mistake. You're right. You won me over. Although classic time bomb prank would have been funny, but you would have been mad because you're like, this isn't a joke. They're just
it's
changing
not a
it back.
joke. I think I just for the first time called Twitter X to someone or like referred to it like very recently where I was like, oh, that felt weird.
What's worse, Twitter to X or HBO to Max to HBO Max again?
They're both awful. Again, X?
Yeah, X is the same issue. Same
Super
issue.
generic. David says, just hire me. I will make your decisions for you, and they'll be infinitely better. What if they had come out and said, we're actually now CW Max?
Oh my God. Could you imagine?
Yeah.
What if they went HBO CW?
Is CW gone?
I think so. I think it's just done. Did you see the trailer for the scrap or like the footage from the scrapped Powerpuff Girl thing?
Yeah.
Um,
it looked bad.
What'd you say?
It looked bad.
Yeah, but it looked. How do I
Like a
say
CW
this?
show?
I was gonna say for a CW audience, like they watch Riverdale. Like it felt in the same vein as Riverdale.
Sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it didn't feel worse than that.
Now that we're talking about CW shows, I think there's
a niche.
There's a relation to what we love about Common Side Effects, adult animation geared towards adults, through sort of this quote unquote childish medium of cartoons, which I disagree with that characterization. I was doing air quotes, but like the CW is a great example of this. Is like shows made for adults, air quotes, but written for children. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like people who are developmentally stunted at like 13 love Riverdale. Like
Yeah.
says the guy who still eats up comic book movies. So, take everything I say with a grain of salt, but like
CW famously had Flash, Arrow, which
or
I mean
even Andor now. Andor is the prime example of like people did not think a Star Wars show
could be for
could
adults.
be for adults. They swear in it. He says shit
Gasp.
at one point, I think. Yeah.
I think.
But it deals with very mature themes.
Yeah.
Like I think hopefully we are crawling out of the era of catering to, I'm going to make a broad generalization here, the Marvel fanboy type of audience.
You know what's so funny to me is just combining a bunch of things we're talking about right now. Dan Harmon had been shitting on Marvel for so long, and I never fully understood it. But now that I'm here, I'm like, wow, he was really ahead of that curve.
Yeah, for sure. Because he was older. We were what, 20?
Yeah.
We were in
But
our
like
20s.
in season 3 of Community, at one point, Jeff's like, these lame ass Marvel movies. And it's like, wow, that's early.
But even Marvel now, Kevin Feige,
He said it feels like homework watching these movies. I
It's
can't
like
believe
they're
he shouldn't be on
refocusing
record
on-
saying that. I feel like that's irresponsible as a studio head.
Definitely not. But they're sort of saying like, yeah, the past couple years of quantity over quality has been detrimental to
I actually think we figured it out on the podcast here. I'm pretty sure we said it, but if we haven't, I think it was Disney Plus. They needed content for Disney Plus, and I think it really ruined Star Wars and Marvel in a way that turned a ton of people off, like maybe fully.
Yeah, I would agree.
I think if they had not had the Disney Plus push that they did, they could still probably be on the same track they were on before.
But again, that's my concern for the Avatar universe. What? Legend of Aang.
Good. I don't like that. Don't say that.
I don't
Even put that juju in the air. Don't say that.
Oh man, I had one more thought I was going to tie into that, but I forgot it now. So
It's gone
It's
now.
gone.
Must not have been important. Okay. I think we're done here.
We're done.
You got anything else?
No.
No? All right. I'm going to wrap us up then. If you enjoyed this episode, we have a ton more in our backlog on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple. I did those out of order. Sorry. Please follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Two Dudes Watch Cartoons, and wherever you listen, make sure you rate and review. Man, it's been a while since I said that. I did that totally out of order. But as always, thank you for listening. Love having you here.
That'll do it for this episode of Two Dudes Watch Cartoons. We will catch you next time.
Two dudes watch cartoons.